Greetings, I'm Chris Conrad. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to the sponsors of the Hemp Forum, to the city of Kyoto for hosting this event, to our friends and colleagues who are gathered here from around the world to participate, to the global community that is attending by internet, as I am, to the First Lady for her gracious participation and presence at today's conference, to Takashi, Nair, Melissa, and all of the other people who've been working tirelessly behind the scenes to make this event happen. It is an honor to be able to address you today, and perhaps next year, my wife, Mickey Norris, and I will be able to participate and attend in person, for I feel this will be the first of many such global forums on hemp and the environment. It is a very great honor that you have named this event after my first book, Hemp, Lifeline to the Future. And the greatest honor of all is to be with people who share this vision for the restoration and the sustenance of the earth for generations to come. For 10,000 years, humanity has led a civilized existence. About 200 years ago, a disastrous change occurred in how society got its raw materials, produced goods, and generated wastes. Part was the technology, and part is the development of consumerism as a lifestyle. Over the centuries, the destruction of the Earth's life support systems has escalated through mining, deforestation, and the use of toxic chemicals and plastic waste products. The devastation has become great all over the world. We're losing our forests, the deserts are expanding, pollution is contaminating our water systems, our biosphere. We're seeing mutations among our animal forms caused by a combination of hormones in the water, radiation, and the stress of the environment. And likewise, we have many new problems that are coming up, some of which we don't even realize what they are yet. In 1988, I saw the planet approaching a precipice of survival, and I conceived and formed the Business Alliance for Commerce and Hemp in order to combat this problem and to advance the prospects and the hopes of future generations. I saw a need for a sustainable and restorative natural resource that our farms could produce in large amounts to supply our need for raw materials, to power mighty industries, to provide food, clothing, housing, paper, plastic, medicine, and other necessities and consumer goods that are part of our lives today. My search led me to an unexpected answer, that indeed there was such an agricultural resource, but surprisingly, it was a plant that was well known to our ancestors and forebears, but was kept hidden from our parents and from our generation. This is the saga of cannabis hemp, the oldest crop to serve it in the interest of humanity, a fiber, food, and oil crop used by our ancestors from all around the world. But not just any crop. I discovered that this was perhaps the most important plant in supporting the economies of many of the world's greatest civilizations. That is a plant beloved and revered for the length and strength of its soft fiber, for the nutritional and lighting benefits of its oil, for the shade that it produced to cool villages, for the fact that it could be grown in difficult conditions and still provide a usable crop. Shortly thereafter, I collaborated with my friend Jack Harrer to expose the conspiracy that saw hemp banned when we worked together on his book, The Emperor Wears No Clothes, and I designed and edited for the world. Then I looked to the future and the emerging equipment and technologies, and saw how this mighty crop from our ancestors could be used today using modern systems to achieve even greater results than they were aware of. And this vision slowly took on form. In my 1993 book, Hemp, Lifeline to the Future, I wanted to convey to the world that there is still hope for us. So in the very first chapter, I described an imaginary world where hemp was ingrained into every aspect of a person's fulfilling life. Hemp seed in their food, hemp seed oil in their toiletries and cosmetics, hemp fiber in the towels that dried them off, the curtains and the garments, even the house itself made of hemp, a car made of hemp, and the fuel to heat the water and run the engine of the car being derived from hemp biofuels and biomass. After describing that vision, I went on to document the historical record showing how prolific a resource hemp can be for us and how it can work to help stop or even repair environmental damage that has accumulated over the past 150 or 200 years. Next, I listed the technologies, the processes, the equipment, and simple do-it-yourself recipes to make thousands of products, and provided the sources of hemp that were then available so that people would be able to advance on those projects and to take these small ideas and turn them into a mighty industry. Now we gather together 23 years after I laid forth that vision and path to see where we stand and how to move forward. As our forum presenters will explain, the hemp products that I imagined in writing that first chapter 23 years ago, many of those products have been made. Even the auto parts and the fuel from hemp have now been produced to show that all these things were true. But it didn't even stop there, because the idea of using 3D copiers that take filaments made with hemp to make physical models in the third dimensions was not even a possibility when I wrote my book. And yet today it has come to pass as a reality. The value of hemp seed, likewise, turned out to be even greater than we had originally thought. Phytoremediation is needed more urgently today than it was when I wrote the book to remove toxins from the soil with the hemp plant. Unfortunately, the large-scale use of hemp to tackle ecological problems has yet to be attempted due to the ongoing stigma against this wonderful plant. This is the issue that we are convened to discuss today: applications and solutions to take advantage of what we already know. And yet, as Ben Dronkers or Paul Benham will tell you, the business difficulties have been very challenging as well. This has not been an easy path for those who believe in it. Some of the issues are technical limitations that have resulted from a century or so of industrial suppression of cannabis, so that the tools, the equipment, the machinery, the skills, the mechanical or chemical processes to make this plant more useful have been deprived of access to the plant itself. So there's been a loss of time, a serious loss of time to bring these things to fruition. Other issues relate to the supply and demand for raw and semi-processed plant matter, or the vagaries of consumer markets. A business can't start producing hemp products without the raw material hemp. A farmer dare not grow the hemp without knowing that they have an end user and that the varieties they use are going to be allowed by the governments in power because of the strange, quirky limitations on the way hemp is used in the world. The consumer markets, people are not always willing to welcome in new products. The machinery used for cotton is not as friendly towards using hemp. So these things all become issues. In the USA today, hemp seed has become mainstream in food and toiletry products, like personal hygiene products and cosmetics. Paper and textile have made fewer inroads, and the housing and fabrications markets lack affordable raw material from hemp to develop the technologies and to develop the product lines and make them available on a scale that society can consume and use. Most of the businesses in my book have since disappeared, but those have been replaced by new generations of investors and entrepreneurs seeking solutions to the modern problems facing the planet and the hemp industry. And hemp has again entered the supply chain for general fabrications and commerce. In addition to its power as an engine to drive the economy, the hemp industry is a tool to create a sustainable future for humanity. Sustainable organic hemp farming is the base upon which we build the concept of this agricultural lifeline to the future. Using hemp as an uptake plant for phytoremediation begs the question of how to safely utilize the fibers and the contaminated plants once they have removed toxins from the soil. They certainly can't be used for food. They certainly can't be used for medicine. But for textiles and for general fabrication applications, some of that will work and some of it will be too contaminated and will require other disposal systems. Using hemp fields as a carbon sink to remove excess CO2 from the atmosphere and help clear the air could increase the amount of foliage that the plants produce, and that adds mulch to the soil and improves the soil for other plants. Likewise, growing hemp as a way of blocking the sunlight and starving weeds is a safe way of ridding fields of weeds and keeping the soil good and improving it, in fact, and then likewise bringing back some amount of industrial raw material from the plants themselves. Simply growing hemp to shade the ground, to feed the wildlife, or to anchor the soil does not require any specialized technology, but it requires social and industrial acceptance. Strangely, it takes acceptance of something that our ancestors always knew and took for granted, that this cannabis hemp plant is on this planet to do good, that it is an ally, that it is a help for us, that there is nothing to fear about a plant that is on this planet for the benefit of humans. It is very meaningful to me that this forum is undertaken here in Japan, a nation with a long tradition of hemp culture. This is likewise a nation that has been beset and hard hit by environmental problems in this century and the last. These challenges make it particularly important that this island nation should lead in the process of reclamation and rediscovery of all the values and the importance of the cannabis hemp plant. Acceptance that this plant, so long a part of Japanese culture, has a pivotal role in the future of this planet, and that the cannabis stigma can no longer be an excuse that allows the planet and the nations around the world in action to address and solve these problems that could very well cause the extinction of life on Earth unless we deal with them intelligently and responsibly. The more familiar that hemp becomes to us, the more our modern society will come to appreciate this amazing plant and will come to seek to utilize its myriad qualities for the betterment of this era and generations to come. Once we perceive hemp as being just a part of our world, the benefits that it produces will just naturally continue to accrue. Our ability to use it will become more and more defined, and we will learn more and more of how we can expand its value, its users, its resourcefulness, and its value here on this planet. And we will see that indeed hemp is a lifeline to our future. Thank you for this opportunity to speak today. Obrigado.